I messed up big time this week with my Apple Fitness Plus plan. On Monday, my Fitness Plus plan got completely derailed by an editing session I got hooked on. And on Tuesday, fatigue from the instant gratification job ended it. Well, I didn't cancel the plan because on Wednesday, I was going to do a session of all three 15-minute sets of core and strength for a grand total of 45 minutes. Today, as I record this on Thursday, I had to split two short sessions instead of the block to get me back up to speed because of having to leave early for the instant gratification job. So, tomorrow I'm going to make sure to get back on track, but this brings me to the main point I want to get to, because it's not just workouts in life that we might have to play catch up on sometimes. It's a universal life theme of catching up on things. But before we find out more about how people play catch up on a regular basis in life, be sure to subscribe for cultural commentary and rants from a man caught between generations. Give this video a like and comment things that you've tried playing catch up on in the past. And feel free to join me at the Zillennial Nexus Point Discord where we can keep this conversation going. Link is in the description below. But yeah, getting back to the main points, sometimes you miss, whether it's my fitness example, and sometimes you make adjustments, like how I paired up the 15-minute sessions back to back to make up for missing those first 2 days. But rarely do you get a perfect catch up like that. So, as I learned this week, doubling up is doable, tripling up is tough. Okay, I could have probably done the 15-minute session later, but at that point, I wanted to get to the YouTube stuff because I prioritize this channel, as I mentioned in my new fitness plan video. Yeah, there was built-in friction through the technical issues and life obligations. But hey, sometimes in life you have to play catch up in other things. For example, something I realized is that many adults chase what they missed as a kid. Take Mr. Jefferson from South Park and his exaggerated kidult behavior and the whole kidult phenomenon of the last few years of adults collecting toys, going to theme parks, etc. Maybe they didn't get a chance to do it when they were a kid. Maybe they enjoyed it and they want to keep enjoying it. And I say, again, as I talked about with Disney adults and articles I've covered about them, what you do with your time and money as an adult of sound mind is your choice, and I respect your decision, even if I disagree with it. Although I do draw the line at shoving kids out of the way to meet Mickey Mouse. That's not cool. In my 20s, I finally caught up with R-rated movies that I'd seen marketing material for growing up in the 2000s, but never got around to. 20 years later, I caught up with Bad Santa and The 40-Year-Old Virgin. Sometimes it's overrated, like Bad Santa was. Might have to rewatch that, just see if it really was that overrated. But I felt like it was a little overhyped after watching it for the first time ever at 26, I believe I was. And then sometimes it turns out to be a masterpiece, like The 40-Year-Old Virgin, which I did a full video on here on the channel if you want to hear what I have to say about how it reflects the culture. Also, in my personal life, there's revisiting childhood places like the Museum of Science and the aquarium. It's still meaningful, even if some, like one of my friends' dads, dismisses them as for kids. The exact wording he used in response to seeing the Martian at the museum was the kiddie museum, is what he described it as, even though that museum literally has events for adults. So has the actual Children's Museum of Boston had their adult night in June. You comment down below whether that's them just trying to make more money and make adults want to donate to the museum, or if you think it's a sign that the declining birth rate and the resulting fewer children than ever is the reason that they're doing this. As I said earlier, it's okay to enjoy something like Disney World or whatever as an adult, just as I still enjoy the likes of the aquarium or the Museum of Science. If you want to revisit a familiar movie every now and then, like I tried to at the theater with Toy Story, and then Buzzkill Lightyear completely ruined it. Worse than the people he was shouting at for rather mildly disruptive behavior that I don't agree with, but I also recognize that Buzzkill Lightyear was actually more disruptive as a result. It's also healthy to have a membership to somewhere like the aquarium or the Museum of Science if you're an adult, in my opinion. I'm not just saying that because I'm saving up for both of those memberships right now. Both of them are good for casual visits, you know? It gives me somewhere to go and it gives me something to do in the city. Again, my only real problem is with Disney adults who shove kids out of their way to meet Mickey Mouse. Like I said earlier, that's not cool, and that's where I think it's officially gone too far. I enjoy rewatching the Pixar movies I grew up with. I enjoy revisiting those that held up, but not everything held up. Frankly, I have a hard time watching Ratatouille now because I've learned a few things about restaurant health codes, and let's just say I am horrified by the climactic scene of all the rats cooking in Gusteau's kitchen. Like, I'm just gonna say it. Spoiler alert for an 18-year-old movie. The health inspector was right to shut down Gusteau's after they let him go. The point I'm trying to make here is that playing catch-up should enrich your life and not replace it. Sometimes playing catch-up confirms the hype wasn't worth it, and you should just move on with your life. Like in my case with Bad Santa. I saw it, it was okay, but I think I built it up a little too much in my head over the previous 20 years, so I just moved on to other things. Sometimes experiences just feel different. Your joy shifts from doing them yourself to sharing them with kids or friends. In my case, sharing the Museum of Science with a friend at adult night because I got to see his reactions to the various interactive exhibits and his reaction to the 4D theater and the planetarium show. I really look forward to bringing the other friend who came to Jaws at the Mugar Omni Theater, the one whose first time seeing Jaws happened to be that night, to the exhibit halls. Once I get that membership, I should be able to do that, and I'll get to see his reaction to everything, because he doesn't really have any memory of the Museum of Science compared to me. And overall, for childless adults who try playing catch up, I just want to say it's completely valid to pivot to adult tailored experiences once the nostalgia wears off. Like, you can watch Toy Story for the umpteenth time, assuming you don't have a clown like Buzzkill Lightyear ruining the experience, but eventually, I think it's worth exploring movies or shows made for adults. Now, me, I have a hard time with experiences tailored for adults because they all seem to involve alcohol, which I have my issues with. Okay, Adult Night at the Museum of Science had a bar. I bought a ginger ale when I was there, but if I had gone alone, it would have made maybe getting to know other people a little harder. I recently listened to this great video about applying open world game logic and the hero's journey to your own life to make your life more addicting than open world games. But to recap, find your own balance when it comes to this. In my case, museum and aquarium memberships have a lot of practical value for me because they're a good Sunday base to get away from extreme weather, or at least temperature wise. Like, obviously, if there's a snowstorm, I am not making it into Boston on the T. That is unfortunately just a reality. But on a 100-degree day in the summer or a sub-zero day in the winter, I can still escape my mom's psychotic cleaning frenzy. I can still go to Boston and I can escape those conditions by using a membership at one of those places, more likely the museum because that would fill a lot more time, and get away from the extreme weather. It's worthwhile because they maximize my commuter rail pass, but I'm careful not to go overboard. I'm going to enjoy them without living there, and I'm more than happy to accept having to stand in the back of the Theater of Electricity when it comes to the lightning presentation, unless I manage to follow through on my plan to hang out in Mathematica until the seats start filling up and then sit down in a front row seat ahead of time. In the case of the Museum of Science, I would combine the nostalgia as a supplement for seeing the new exhibits they have to offer, and again, having somewhere to escape the extreme weather without having to stay home during my mom's cleaning frenzy. So, yeah, overall, everyone plays catch up in life, whether it's workouts, hobbies, or childhood dreams. It's okay to enjoy what you want to as an adult, whether you finally get to go to Disney World as an adult who has the money to do that, or something along those lines. But it's equally okay to just move on, like I did after finally watching Bad Santa and figuring out I built it up as something way more than it actually was in my head over the 20 years after it came out. So on that note, I'm going to wrap it up here for the video. You let me know in the comments what's something you finally caught up on as an adult, and was it worth the hype? Make sure to also give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for cultural commentary and rants from a man caught between generations. And last but certainly not least, feel free to join me at the Zillennial Nexus Point Discord. Link will be in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.